The fast-rising floodwaters of November 1985 left 47 people dead in West Virginia's worst natural disaster. When the floodwaters receded, incredible damage emerged. 3,500 homes were destroyed.
When I was here 10 years ago, this river presented a much different picture. It was a killer, claiming 5 lives, and still threatening as late as Thanksgiving to destroy this community.
In fact, you can walk into any store in Parsons today and say, "Where were you that night?" And they know what you're talking about. You don't even have to say the night of the flood, just say that night.
That night, Juanita Wampler lost her home and very nearly her life.
The fireplace fell. And after it fell down, the ceiling fell on me. And after the fireplace fell, though, I threw my cat into the water, thinking, well, she'll die in a hurry. And then the ceiling fell on me. And I thought, well, this is it. And I just breathed in the water. And as I did, I was flushed right out of the house.
Swept downstream, she survived by hanging on to 2 trees.
But I didn't get panicky. I had to just, it was almost like being divorced from your body where you're watching a movie.
That night was a horror film for 33 West Virginia counties.
A decade later, the natural disaster that claimed 47 lives still haunts this part of West Virginia. Bob Aaron, WCHS-TV, News 8, Parsons.
Rocks of destruction shaped with pride form an arc of strength for those who survived and a monument of glory for those who died. The Flood Recovery Monument, dedicated today in Parsons, provides a lasting tribute to those who came to Tucker County to help in the wake of the devastating 1985 flooding, and it remembers those who died.
And the bottom of the arc is the level of the water. It says the flood stage is 13 feet, and the flood, the Chi River crested at 21 feet, and that would be right at the bottom of the arc.
Parsons was one of the hardest hit communities in the flooding. Statewide, 47 lives were lost. National Guard helicopters looked for the dead. 3,500 homes were destroyed and 123 bridges downed.
The water level here in Parsons reached the top of the awning at Long Store. Still, the downtown and businesses battled back. Many got grants and loans, but not every story had a happy ending. 37 businesses folded over the next few years after the flood.
89-year-old Martha Lewis's home was a casualty of the flood, written off as a total loss. But she refused to give up on the house that filled with 8 feet of water and 6 feet of mud. It took 4 men to pull a picnic table jammed into a window free. A church group helped make the repairs that let her continue to live in the home built in the 1800s. The night of the flood, she got out of the residence just in time to witness incredible destruction.
Oh, I was up at my son's up McAfee. I was up on the hill up from the Hamilton Hendricks water plant, and it was just crash and bang the whole livelong night. It took the part of the Black Fork Bridge out, and next morning we couldn't get out up there.
This river looks calm enough now, but it was a different story a decade ago. Rivers like this one swept down out of the mountains, some with waters as high as 29 feet. They swept aside everything in their path.
Another perspective on the deadliest night of the decade in West Virginia coming up in a special report Sunday. Bob Aaron, WCHS-TV, News 8, Parsons. Much of Weston went underwater a decade ago as West Virginia experienced flooding that would claim 47 lives and leave $570 million in damage.
A decade ago, the flood control work here at Stonewall Jackson Lake was incomplete, and there was serious flooding here in Lewis County. But the dam did stop the more devastating flooding that hit some other areas of the state.
There were plenty of trouble signs here in Weston and in 33 counties around the state. The damage was so severe, 29 would be declared federal disaster areas. Boats or helicopters were the only way to travel in some areas. Some communities would be cut off from the outside world for days.
With more than 7 inches of rain in 2 days, Weston residents had plenty of real problems to worry about. But there was also an imaginary one, panic in the streets after rumors surfaced that the dam had broken at Stonewall Jackson. Barber Paul Titus decided against sending the elderly tenants in his building out of the city on a wet, cold night. He planned to move them to the upper floors if that wall of water ever came. It didn't.
Well, they came through town with loudspeakers when everybody only had 5 minutes to get out of town. And a lot of people ran, a lot of people didn't. But that never broke, so we're still here.
In parts of eastern West Virginia, there were no dams to fail, but the rainfall was so intense it produced a pile-driver wall of water that swept Mountain Valley so clean 8 feet of topsoil was removed in some places.
Then we went to the school building, and the water just kept coming up, and it was from that mountain to that mountain, total water, and just one big huge river.
Mobile homes, farm animals, and people were swept away.
I grabbed hold of these 2 trees. Thank goodness they were close together, because, and I braced my feet up about a foot from the ground that way. And after I was taken out, it took me about 6 months to get my arms feeling right again and my legs because of all that cold and everything. While I was standing there between the trees, the debris was hitting my back.
For many areas of the state, this was a 500-year flood. But now when rain clouds form over the mountains, that decade-old natural disaster of historic size does not seem that far or long away. Bob Aaron, WCHS-TV, News 8, Parsons.
We got a brand new Suburban out on